If you have launched an offer more than once, you know that you can't just rinse and repeat your last launch. Yes, you can definitely take elements of it, but every launch is going to give you information, and you can use that information to get even better results the next time. So this episode, I am giving you a behind the scenes on my Copy Classroom launch, what changed, what feedback I heard, and the lessons I'm taking into my next launch. So let's dive in. This was the first launch where I changed Copy Classroom from a monthly membership to a year-long program. I made that choice very intentionally because I know that the people who do really, really well in Copy Classroom are the people who are in there for at least a year. They get the time to put in the reps, to practice, to get feedback, and go through the cycle at least a few times to really build their skills, because copywriting is a skill. And so because of that, I really had to shift who my ideal client was. It really is somebody who wants to build the skill, who knows that this skill is valuable and that it's going to help them sign more clients. Those are the people that I know will get the best results. Another thing that I was really thinking about as I went into the launch was simplifying the structure of the offer. So Copy Classroom, it's gone through a few iterations. This was probably the biggest shift in iterations. We were inside a community platform, but the feedback that I got from members and the way that I observed people interacting with the membership was they weren't really using the community piece. And what I could see is the most used pieces of the membership were the live calls, because people could come on, they can build relationships with each other, they can get feedback, hear what other people are doing, and build from there. And then the copy reviews, the crux of Copy Classroom. And so if those were the two most used pieces, those were what I really wanted to hone in on. That is just such a great example of where less is more. So these were kind of the things that I was thinking about before I even started promoting it, before I even got into the launch, was how do I simplify this offer? Who is even my ideal client for this offer? And then I could go into the launch. So the big launch event for this was the No AI Copywriting Challenge. And the question I'm asking myself is, would I run this challenge again? Let me know if you would like to do it again. I think I would run it again. I had current clients in there, I had past clients in there, I had new people in there, and there were people who were engaged and active, people who got a lot of value from it. And I connected with a lot of people that I would really love to work with, would really love to collaborate with. And so in terms of human connection, I thought it was a really great challenge and I would run it again. One of the things when you're launching is really doing a lot of listening. So talking to your people and getting information about what is resonating with them, what are they actually struggling with, what do they need help with. And that's going to inform how you talk about your offer the next time you are running a campaign. Or if you're not running campaigns and you're just promoting your offer all the time, then that is giving you information about what to write in your next email. If I did the No AI Copywriting Challenge again, I wouldn't just copy and paste the emails. There are things that I would shift based on the conversations that I was having. So this is also why when I am working with my done for you clients that I always start with voice of customer research and talking to their clients to see how do their clients talk about their offers? Why did their clients join it in the first place? And so some of the things that I heard this time around was, one is this focus on implementation and action over learning. And so this is a huge piece of why Copy Classroom is called a classroom and not just it's not copy lecture, but it's all about implementation and creating a structure so that you have some accountability and feedback and you can keep reiterating and improving on what you're actually doing. So it's really focused on doing the work. And that was some feedback that I got, that people were really interested in this guided support and not adding more to your plate, but having structure around what you're already doing. The other piece that really came out of it, and it's so funny because when I started my business, I was thinking like my ideal client is somebody who helps people. And I know technically everybody helps people if you have a business, that is what your business is. But the more conversations I've been having, the more I want to lean into this values piece. It's more important to me to work with people who have similar aligned values with me, who don't want to engage in icky marketing practices, who want to sell their offer and want to help people, but doing so in a way that feels aligned with how they work, in a way that feels good. Not saying that you never step out of your comfort zone when you're marketing and selling. You do, but there's a way to do it in a values aligned way. And so for me, when I'm thinking about the creatives and consultants and coaches that work with me, it is not so much about what exactly you're doing. It is about how you're doing it, how you're approaching the work, and how you want to show up in your space. Those are the two main takeaways that I really had when I was thinking about what did I hear from my ideal clients in these conversations that I was having during the launch. So if you just launched or if you're launching, that is definitely something to look out for, is your voice of customer research. How are they talking about your offer? What do they actually want? And leaning into that. Other launch reflections that I had, one is, and this is 100% on me, it had been a while since I launched Copy Classroom. It had been at least a year. I had the same clients in there for a while and I really wasn't promoting it. And so this launch was really me getting back into it. And probably the most important reminder to me in all of this is to never start promoting your offer. I coasted for a long time and then I was like, oh no, I need clients. And so thinking about that and how launch cycles are getting even longer, even with having a 2-week open cart, it still took some people longer to decide. So even with the 2 weeks, I was still wrapping up sales conversations 2 weeks later. And I get it. People are busy. It took some time for people to schedule calls. And so I think going into next launch, just keeping that in mind that hey, it's actually taking people longer to make decisions and that's okay. So let me plan ahead for that. And thinking about, okay, what do people actually need in order to make this decision? Another thing is really like how important the customer journey is. I talked about AI for months. By the time the No AI Copywriting Challenge came around, I was so tired of talking about AI, which is a good sign that I was talking about it enough, but definitely when you're launching something, especially if you're launching around a theme, you are going to feel like that. You are going to feel like, I have been talking about this way too much. Am I being annoying? I'm annoyed by my own voice. I am so sick of talking about this. That is a sign that you're talking about it enough, because nobody is going to feel that way. Nobody is hearing you as much as you are hearing you. And so just keeping in mind that like, no, your people are not sick of you and you can go ahead and keep talking about your thing. That's what's going to be most effective. It's funny too, because I added something at the bottom of my email because consent is important to me. And I added a link at the bottom of my email that said, if you need a break from these emails, click here to take a week off. And I only had one person click on that through the entirety of the launch. So it really shows me people weren't really sick of it. People were still opening the emails. They were still clicking. And so it is a good reminder to myself and to all of you that keep talking about your thing. It's okay. Nobody's getting sick of you. The last thing that I want to reflect on, launching is always more work than you think. And I had everything scheduled ahead of time, but I had some personal life stuff come up, and between that personal life stuff and continuously talking about my offer over and over and over again, it gets really emotionally taxing. And so just a reminder that if you are running a campaign, even if you have everything scheduled, you're still showing up, putting yourself out there, and that can be really emotionally taxing, especially if you're introverted and peopling is hard. So just remember, it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to shift the plan if it doesn't go according to plan, and to remind yourself that you do need to be in the right mindset of like, okay, if things go well, awesome. And if things don't go as planned, it doesn't mean anything about you as a person or how good you are at your job. It's just data that's giving you information for the next time you launch. All of this being said, I will be releasing podcast episodes every other week for the meantime through the summer, taking a lighter load as we get into nicer weather. And if you're curious about Copy Classroom, getting my eyes on your copy, getting that small group weekly support with your marketing and focusing on implementation rather than learning, join the waitlist at stacybragacopy.com/classroom. It is also linked below in the show notes. And thank you so much for listening. Until next time.